Before we are going to discuss the agarose gel electrophoresis, certain other enzymes also involved in the recombinant DNA technologies. The first enzymes already we discussed, that is the restriction endonuclease. Then second enzyme DNA ligase. Third, alkaline phosphatase. Then fourth one is DNA polymerase. These other enzymes also involved in the recombinant DNA technology. Then what are the functions of DNA ligase? The DNA ligase add phosphodiester bond between the two adjacent nucleosides. Add phosphodiester bond. Actually, the DNA ligase is also called the molecular paste, which help to join the two DNA fragment. How to join the two DNA fragment? By adding phosphodiester bond. Let's for example, it is a sugar molecule. Adenine, thymine, sugar molecule. See here is the first carbon, second carbon, third carbon. The third carbon sugar molecule, it is a OH group, hydroxyl group. It is a one nucleoside. What's called nucleoside? Nitrogenous bases plus sugar. These nitrogenous bases attach to the sugar molecule by a bond is called a glycosidic bond. Glycosidic bond. And these nitrogenous bases attach to the neighboring nitrogenous bases. These are the two nucleotides are joined by producing phosphodiester bond. See, it is another sugar, another nucleotide sequence. Guanine paired with the cytosine. Yes, first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, it is a OH group, fourth carbon, then it is a fifth carbon. The fifth carbon ending with the phosphate group, PO4. Phosphate group. Fifth carbon ending with the phosphate. Third carbon ending with the OH group. Say, joining of these two fragments by forming a bond. These are called phosphodiester bond. So, what are the functions of this DNA ligase? How they are joined together by two nucleotide sequences by forming phosphodiester bond. It is a function of major functions of DNA ligase. Alkaline phosphatase. Then what are the functions of this alkaline phosphatase? To remove the phosphate group. To avoid self-ligation. See, plasmids are double stranded. If we cut by using restriction endonuclease, these are the fifth end. The fifth end, it is a phosphate group. Another opposite end, third end, it is a OH group. Similarly, understand opposite, it is a third end OH group. It is another end, fifth end, that is a phosphate group. If you cut the two molecular strand by using restriction endonuclease, due to the presence of phosphate and OH bond, again they are self-ligated. See, these are the circular DNA. If cut, they become linear. They want to self-ligate it because one end is a OH group and another is a phosphate group. They again get self-ligated. So, to prevent this self-ligated, if they are get self-ligated, it is not possible to attach to the foreign DNA. Our gene of interest is not possible to attach. So to prevent self-ligation, to remove this phosphate group in fifth prime, to remove phosphate group in fifth prime, to remove phosphate groups are removed by adding the enzyme is called alkaline phosphatase. If you add the alkaline phosphatase to remove the phosphate groups. If you add this foreign DNA molecule, the foreign DNA also contain one end is a OH group, another one is a phosphate group. Yes, they easily gets ligated. So what is the major function of alkaline phosphatase? To remove phosphate group. It is initially obtained from the calf intestines and certain bacteria. This alkaline phosphatase. DNA polymerase. It is one of the major enzymes are produced by the host organisms involved in the replication of DNA. Replication of DNA. See, it's a DNA. How the DNA gets replicated? The replication actually to start fifth prime to the third prime, then opposite third prime to the fifth prime. So by using the enzyme is called DNA polymerase. There are three types of polymerase. DNA polymerase 1, 2, 3. And these DNA polymerase enzymes to catalyze the replication of DNA from fifth prime to the third prime, and third prime to the fifth prime in opposite directions. The two strands are replicated in opposite direction with the help of enzyme is called DNA polymerase. Once the DNA plasmids are introduced to the host organism, they get replicated. How they get replicated? By using DNA polymerase enzyme. So these are the three enzymes are involved in the generally four enzymes. A major enzyme is called restriction endonuclease. Another one is DNA ligase. Third one is alkaline phosphatase. The fourth one is DNA polymerase. The next video we are going to discuss see that separations and isolation of the DNA fragment. Separation, isolation of DNA fragment. See, why should we isolate or separation of DNA fragment? After cutting off DNA from the different sources, the gene of interest or desirable gene or foreign DNA are also called alien DNA obtained from the different sources from bacteria, fungi, viruses, plants, animal cells. These genes that contain the desirable to obtain a desirable product. These are desirable genes. The desirable genes are cut into fragment by using restriction endonuclease. They form a fragment. See, it is a DNA. It is a DNA. By using restriction endonuclease, they cut into fragment to form a DNA fragment. The DNA fragment from different sources. So it is essential to isolation and purification of DNA before they are attached to the vector. Before they are attached to the vector, also called cloning vehicle. Before the attachment of cloning, what's called cloning vehicle? They are responsible for to carry this gene of interest into the host organism. Before they are attached to the host organisms or attached to the cloning vehicle, it is important or it's an essential one to isolation and purification of these fragments. How to purify? Purifying this DNA fragment by using an instrument is called agarose gel electrophoresis. Agarose gel electrophoresis. Agarose gel electrophoresis, it is an instrument. Yes. This is an instrument. It is consists of well, one, two, three, four. It is completely loaded with the gel, agar gel. The gel actually commonly obtained from seaweeds. First one, gel obtained from seaweeds. The gels are obtained, get the gel from market. It is added to the hot water. The gels are get separated to form a thread-like structures. Now the thread-like structures actually, these are the thread-like structures. These thread-like structures they become laterally joined together to form a pore. These are called gel pore. Yes, it is a gel pore. So the gels are first loaded in the agar-gel electrophoresis instrument. If these are loaded to the DNA sample, see it's a foreign DNA, it's a plant to obtain the DNA. These are called DNA samples. So this DNA sample is loaded into the electrophoresis through well. See, since we know that DNA it is a negatively charged molecule. Negatively charged molecule. It moves towards the positively charged molecule anode. In the presence of electric field, through matrix are also gel. If you load the DNA sample, what is the purpose of load the DNA sample? For we want to get purifying and separation of DNA fragment. The DNA sample is loaded into the agar gel through pore. Since the DNA is a negatively charged, by the applications of electric field, this is a negatively charged, this is a positive charged anode. Cathode is a negative charge, anode is a positive charge. If the DNA is loaded, DNA is a negative charge, we have to force the DNA to move towards the positive charged anode. See how this move in the process of electric field, DC volt, applying the DC volt in the field of electric volt through a matrix containing medium. Now what's called medium? The medium is obtained from the seaweeds. If you load the medium is nothing but gel is a medium. So how these DNA fragments are moved based on their size. So if the large size DNA particle, they move slow. The smaller size DNA particle move towards the opposite charge fast through this pore. The pore is created by agar gel. So that depends upon the size of the pores, the DNA molecules or DNA fragments are gets moved. It's a large size. They move slow. Large size DNA band. Next, another size. Another size. Yes, these are the small DNA fragments. Small DNA fragment or band. These are the large DNA band. The large DNA band move slower, but whereas the small DNA fragment move fastest, it is passed through the matrix in the presence of electric field. This DNA fragment, size of the DNA fragments are get separated based on their pore. I mean gel pore. It is created by agar gel. See how can we visual these DNA bands are get separated. The DNA bands are separated. We can visualize by staining with the ethidium bromide. The DNA band chained with ethidium bromide followed by exposed to the ultraviolet rays, followed by exposing UV light, ultraviolet ray, it appears, this separated DNA bands appears bright orange color band, appears bright orange colored band. So the bright orange color bands appears after the exposure to the UV lights. See, these separated DNA fragment we can't see in the visible light without staining. Definitely we can see after the staining of this band with the ethidium bromide, then followed by exposing to the UV light, it's completely clearly appears in a bright orange color bands appears. So now these bright orange color bands are cut from the gel pieces, cut away by the process is called elution. Then what's called elution? The process of cut away the small DNA fragment or purified DNA fragment from the gel plate by the process called elutions. Now finally these isolated purified DNA fragments are used in the recombinant DNA technology for the introduction of these foreign genes attached into the cloning vectors. The next study, cloning vectors. It is an important fourth tools that are involved in the recombinant DNA technology, cloning vector. What is called cloning vector? Why should we need the vectors? Vector is nothing but a cloning vehicle. They are responsible to carry the alien DNA. It is nothing but foreign DNA or gene of interest, and they get multiplied or replicate within the host cells. If they carry the DNA gene of interest for the multiplications, that is why we need a vectors. These are called cloning vectors. There are different types of cloning vectors are used in the recombinant DNA technologies. What are the different kinds? The first one is plasmid. It is the most suitable vector, plasmids. There are different types of plasmids are used. One is PBR322 plasmids. It is the first artificial constructed plasmids. PBR322 plasmids. Then PUC plasmids. The plasmids are developed in the University of California. PUC plasmids. Then TI plasmids. It is obtained from the bacterium is called Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Agrobacterium tumefaciens. The TA refers to tumor-inducing plasmids. TA plasmids. Then another one is R plasmids. R plus is nothing but resistant plasmids. That's resistant to the specific antibiotics. So there are different types of plasmids also used. PBR322 plasmids, PUC plasmid. We discussed the detail in the PBR322 plasmids. PUC plasmid. Plasmids are developed in the University of California. TA plasmid, tumor-inducing plasmid obtained from the bacterium is called Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Then RI plasmids nothing but resistant plasmids that shows resistant against some specific antibiotics. Second vectors used in the recombinant technology, bacteriophage. The bacteriophage, they are independently multiplied replicated themselves in the host organism, especially bacteria. It's a virus. The virus are independently gets multiplied. They use the machinery for protein synthesis in the host organism because it's a acellular. It does not possess any cellular component. If they enter into the host cells, for example bacteria, they use the machinery for the protein synthesis machinery for the host cells. They are independently gets multiplied. And for that purpose, if our foreign genes are introduced into this vector or into this bacteria, they gets multiplied already independently. Along with our foreign genes also gets multiplied. That is why these bacteriophage also used as vectors or cloning vectors. Most commonly bacteriophage, lambda phage. Lambda phage. Other one is M13. Bacteriophage are used in the recombinant DNA technology. Then retrovirus. Retrovirus. The retrovirus actually is an virus. It is a group of common virus that cause common cold. It is also caused by a group of virus called retrovirus. These retrovirus, they are used to replicate the DNA in the animal cells. It is the most suitable vector. It question, retrovirus is the most suitable vector which is used to induce or replicate the DNA in the animal cells. Retrovirus. So these are the bacteriophage vectors used in the recombinant DNA technology. The third one is coliphage. Caspid. Caspid. Then fourth one is phagebit. Phagebit. Then fifth one is artificial bacterial artificial chromosome. Bacterial artificial chromosome. It is also called BAC. Then sixth one is yeast artificial chromosome. Yeast artificial chromosome. Then transposons. The transposons is also called jumping gene. So these are the other vectors also used in the recombinant DNA technology. Caspid, phagebit, bacterial artificial chromosome BAC, yeast artificial chromosome. These two vectors mainly used in the Human Genome Project. Remember? These two vectors are used in the Human Genome Project. The transposons, it is also called jumping gene because the particular sequence of DNA, they easily jump to the another position of DNA, from one position of DNA to the another positions. It's a sequence of nucleotides. It is a sequence of nucleotides. The particular sequence of nucleotides move to the another position of nucleotides. So hence it is also called jumping genes. It is also used in the recombinant DNA technology vectors. Among these 7 types of vectors, the most commonly used vectors in cloning vehicle, these two, plasmid and bacteriophage. Why these plasmids and bacteriophage are commonly used vectors in the recombinant DNA technology? Because these two they are self-replicated, automatically or independently self-replicated within the host cells. That is why it is a maximum use in the recombinant DNA technology vector. Now we are going to discuss detailing in the PBR 322 plasmid.